Hey, welcome back, kind people. I'm Lucinda, and on today's episode of Queen of Kings, I'm going to be talking about homeschooling. Stay tuned. Okay, so some people ask me, Lucinda, why did you homeschool? How do you homeschool? Is it a secret formula? It's no secret formula. I would say the reason that me and my husband decided to homeschool, I feel like it was God. It was all God. I never had a desire to say, you know what? I'm going to homeschool my kids one day and it's going to be great and it's going to be awesome. I never did. One day I was folding clothes on the floor and it was an overwhelming joy of, you should homeschool your kids. And I was like, not knowing at the time, I was like, that's a lie. Like, my kids go to good schools and I don't want to take them out of their school that they're going to. But when that thought and that inclination came to me, it was a joyful thing. But moments after, I talked myself out of it, and I was like, Lucinda, you're not equipped to homeschool all of your kids. It's just not going to work. So I ran it by my husband just to try to, test the water and see what he says. I was like, Henry, I think that we should, kind of consider homeschooling the kids. And he was like, no, ma'am. Get somebody else to do it. He was not with it. So I just kind of brushed it off and I went on about my day. The next day, it was the same overwhelming joy of, wow, you can homeschool your kids. And I was like, what is this? And I mentioned it to him again. Same response. Why would you do that? Well, we stay at, it's a small rural area. It's only 4 schools where we stay at. And those schools are A schools. So, he was like, no, they go to good schools. Why mess with a good thing? If it's not broke, don't fix it. And we were out doing some work on the land. And I said within myself, because it was heavy on me now, because I'm like, I had this feeling twice. So I said within myself, I said, God, so let me rewind. I have neighbors that stay near me and they homeschool their kids. And so I told myself, so now I'm back on the tractor and I'm like, God, if I see my neighbor, if this is your will, I'm going to see my neighbor and I'm going to ask her about homeschooling. I will know that this is you. Because I was convinced that, maybe it was just a little, feeling that I had. I don't know. I didn't know. I just needed some confirmation from God. So I said, if I see my neighbor, I am going to ask her about it. Before I can finish this sentence in my heart, in my mind, my neighbor is coming by on her 4-wheeler. And I was like fear and trembling because nobody heard these thoughts. It was only me. Nobody else heard this except for me and God. And this lady is riding by, hair blowing on her 4-wheeler. And I was like, it's a shift. A shift is about to take place in my life because that was my confirmation that we are going to be homeschooling our kids. So I told my husband what happened and he trusts the God that's in me. And he said, okay, I'll drop you off to the front of the fence. And when she comes by, you can talk to her. I'll meet you up there and we'll discuss with her. See, that was my journey. And I knew then, okay, Lucinda, you're going to homeschool your kids. So I spoke to her about everything. That was me. Okay. So if you want to homeschool your kids and you might be saying, Lucinda, I had none of that. None of it. I just don't like the teachers. I don't like the principal. Don't like the children. That's me. That's what you might be saying. I had no epiphany. I'm tired of sending my kids to school every day and I could be the one teaching them. Cool. That's awesome as well. The first thing that I would tell you is to make sure you're sure. If you pray about it. If you have a spouse, talk to him about it and you guys get on one accord. Because it's actually going to take both of you guys supporting one another and helping each other out with the kids. If you're single, talk to some homeschool parents. If you have somebody, go online now. Everything is at your fingertip. You can literally go online and type in homeschool groups near me or something like that. And the next thing you will have to do is go down to your local school board. I'm here in Florida, so I had to go I didn't have to really go. Matter of fact, I sent an email saying that my desires were to take my sons out of public school and then to home educate them. And they got back with me, told me the form to fill out. I filled out the form, sent it back in. They sent me a letter saying congratulations on your decision. And that was that. So after you get that done, I want to tell you, even while you're getting that done, people tell me one of the most popular excuses that I hear about people not homeschooling their kids is that I don't have the patience. I can't do it. I can't teach them. I'm not a teacher. That's what teachers are for. But actually, you are your child's first teacher. You have been equipped, like God has placed inside of you, patience, tolerance, love, nurture for your child. Even though when we send them to school, that teacher has them for a couple of hours of the day. She did not give birth to them. She did not carry them. None of it. Even if you're a foster parent, you're caring for that child. Even though you didn't carry them in your womb, that is your responsibility. You vowed to take care of them and love them like you did. So nobody is going to do that to your child like you can. So people tell me I don't have the patience. You really do. It's just about building that patience up and practicing patience with your own kids. And you'll realize, oh, I have the patience. I definitely have the tolerance to teach my own kids. The second thing I would say is do not complicate it. You guys, once you guys realize, okay, I want to homeschool my kid, I have the patience, I have everything I need to teach my child. One thing that I did the first year of homeschooling, I tried to mirror public school into my home education. And when I tell you everyone was stressed, my husband, my children, my cat might have even felt it. I don't know, but it was very stressful because I was first of all, I was public school my whole life. My husband was. So all we knew was the public school system, the way of doing things. So I really had to get my mind renewed about how should homeschool look for me in the Sawyer house. Because I was like, I don't know how to do this. I thought that it had to be literally by the book. I had no flexibility. And that was one thing I heard about homeschooling. It's like, oh, you have flexibility. You get to teach your children the way you want to teach them. You can cater to each child. But because I was trying to mirror and shadow the public school way, it was really tough. It was a bad, unpleasant situation for the 6 months that we started homeschooling. This is we're going on to our 7th year. So this is our 6th year of homeschooling. That first year the first part of that first year was it was tough because I was trying to do it the public school way. So don't make it complicated. This is one thing that I use every year for my homeschool journey. This is a student planner. This is what we're using this year, 2022, 2023. I got this from Amazon. And I love this because it helps my kids be independent learners and govern themselves. And it helps me to stay on task. And I don't have to always feel like I'm assigning them something to do. This keeps it simple. So I put down, right here you see, this was August. So I'm going to go to, since we're going to start off in January. So school starts back for us on the 4th. So what I will do, January the 4th, right here is different subjects. This is super simple. And then just say if I do math, this is for my youngest son. And I will write down what he has to do for that day. So we have this book right here. This is one of his warm-up books that he's doing multiplication. So I will write down, just say for an example, I'm just open a random page. Just say today, if I want him to do Brainy Books, in this Brainy book, page 72, I will go to his agenda book. I will write down right here in that little subject area, math. I will write down, if you can see it, math. I'll just write down Brainy Books, page 73. And he knows when he get his agenda book, he say, okay, this is what I have to do. I already have his book stacked up on the desk for him. He's my youngest one, so I try to still make things easy for him. And where it says reading, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it has a little subject, reading, has all the different subjects. What would mama do? I would have his reading book set aside for him randomly. Okay, just say if we're doing page 37, I will put your Kuhlman reading book, page 37. And he knows, okay, I know what I have to do now. So I just did reading and I did math. These are like supplemental books that I have on top of their curriculum that I do. But that's simple. That's one way that you can do it. I would even say, when we first started, I did this year in a book, it's like a summer transition book, a bridge book. That's what it's called. This helped me out so much. This is not one of them, but I think this is the maker of the book that I had, the daily learning drills. And like, let's say if your child's in the 5th grade, you can go to Sam's. You can go, I saw them in Costco's, and it will have reading, math, science, social studies, all in one book. Like, this really works because it's really the same thing in Florida, New York, whatever it is. If your child is in the 5th grade, they try to cater to a 5th grader in this book. So if you can find it in Sam's, Costco's, I saw some in the Walmart. They have them in Walmart and Target if you like that. Go in there and get that. Do not complicate it. I'm telling you, you will stress yourself out. You will stress your whole household out. So I would say you can do it. I would say you can do it. Start off by praying and saying, you know what, God, is this for me? Is this for me? I would say this was one of the best decisions that I have ever made concerning my children. I have 4 sons, and me and my sons and my husband, as a family, we are so connected to one another. They come to us, they ask us certain things, they want to sit down, they want to talk to us because we spend so much time with them. They're not sheltered. They play at the high school, they play sports at the high school, they do different things. So, but we are their first point of knowledge, wisdom, and any kind of answers that they have for difficult, subjects or topics. They can come to mom and say, Mom, look, I heard this at practice. What is that? Or whatever it is. I introduce things to them first. If it's sex, drugs, alcohol, I am the first one to say, hey, look, this is this thing going around. Do not be a part of this or whatever it is. So I thank God that I'm that first influence in their life. With my husband, he has time to pour into them, teach them things about being a man in this world and being a housekeeper. I can tell them, okay, not just taking out the trash, let's load the dishwasher. Let's fold up that shirt. Let me show you the right way to fold up the shirt. Because one day they will go out and they will be a father to somebody, to their children. They will marry a beautiful young lady and they will have to know how to have certain skills that school, it just doesn't teach them. I'm not mad at the school system, but it wasn't made to teach them life skills and to teach them how to be men of integrity. That's not the school's job. That's mom and dad's job and the word of God to be placed inside of them. I would say homeschooling our kids was the best decision that we ever made. Like even right now, I'm sitting in our RV. We're able to use this RV a lot because we're homeschooled. We can load up, we can hook it up, and we can take off and we can learn as we're on the road. That's one thing I love, that my kids have experienced some things that within 6 or 8 hours of school that what they wasn't going to be able to be exposed to. But we can take them to Washington, D.C., we can take them to California, Texas, and show them different things that we learn about in our schoolwork. So now we're like, okay, we're going to show you about the Everglades. Since we're talking about it, let's go and let's experience it hands-on. So that's another different way that we can expose our kids as we homeschool them. So I know I'm just kind of talking right now, but I'm trying to motivate you and stir you up about homeschooling your kids because you can do it. You will not regret it. I would say one thing that was told to me by one of my great neighbors. She said, Lucinda, if you feel like this is God, do it. She said, if not, you can always put them back in school. So I was like, yeah, that's right. You know, if I feel like, you know what, I missed something, I can always put them back in school. But I am telling you, once you have them out, once they realize that they get to be home, maybe some days in their PJs, doing their schoolwork and learning at their pace, you pushing them and you know, pushing them into what God has for them, not just the going to school, learning in order to take a test, but now you're finding out what they really like. And then you really get to know them better. So now you're not just preparing them to take a test, but you're preparing them for the real world. What do they really like? One child might like engineering. The other one might like science. The other one might be really organized, you know. So it's so cool that you get to love on your children, but then love them and find out who they are and then shoot them towards that way. So thank you guys for staying for this little short video, encouraging you guys. If you want to homeschool, you can do it. You can do it. I have a high school diploma, and that's what I have. I'm going to school right now. But look, if you feel like, hey, I only have a GED, you can still do it. You have teacher guides that can help you. This can help you. And nothing wrong with a GED, first of all, because some people have GEDs for other reasons. Some people have high school diplomas. Some people have college degrees, and they still open their mouth and say, I cannot homeschool my kids. So no judgment, not casting any judgment at all. But what I was going to say is you have teacher guides. What the teachers use in school, you have that. It tells you literally what to say to your child and look for a certain response. I have this student book for my son. If I don't know everything. So I just go along with this teacher book. But you can do it. You can do it. Be encouraged, mom and dad. You have what it takes to be a homeschool parent. No matter if it gets tough, if sometimes you can't see the way, you can do it. God has placed you in their lives to teach them, to help them to grow, to be to have morals, and to just be cool kids. You know, you can do it. You can be a part of that. So yeah, thank you guys, and I look forward to seeing you all again. Bye.